overlords that aren't near Hydra support, and I think very intelligently he's popped down a bunker, and he'll probably try and just repair that en masse when the Hydra come in for the break. But I don't think Baxter will dedicate at this earlier stage to such a all-in break, because if he loses his standing forces, then what happens? Oh wow, and Boxer has just thrown away his Wraith, and that's really poor. He knows it there. He knows that was a mistake. He's invested a lot of resources into that Wraith. I mean, you think 150 minerals, 100 gas, but you also invested in the Starport, which is another 150 minerals and another 100 gas, which means that Wraith alone costs 300 minerals and 200 gas, which obviously is not a great trade-off for Boxer, just giving away 300 minerals, 200 gas. He's got his expansion up and running, and I think Baxter is out to take his expansion, which Boxer would probably assume at this point, because Zerg really do need to get that third expansion up, or they're going to have gas problems really early. Interestingly, Baxter hasn't put any defense down. I usually expect the Zerg to put down at least one creep colony, maybe not upgrade it to a sunken because he knows what's going on in Boxer's base, but he's put us maybe fourth, and I would expect a fifth hatchery to go down soon for this mass Hydra break build, and I think it's a good idea because Boxer doesn't have a lot of production, so Baxter really is taking advantage of that. Though, that being said, I mean, the most possible thing in this game to break is a Terran defense. So I'm not sure if he can get enough. Oh, it looks like a hive is coming out. I'd say what I think this is, but I really have no idea where he could be going with this hive. Maybe chucking down a swarm or going for some very, very, very early ultra. Either way, I don't think the ultra will work as well, and especially the swarm won't work as well because of the tanks. Tanks tend to be a reasonable counter to swarm until they can get a critical mass of troops to rush the tanks. In that case, the tanks really struggle, especially against enough lings. Box is persisting with these raids. He really needs the scouting, I think, and I think he's checked down the control tower because he wants the dropships. He's going for a bit of dropship play, maybe a bit of fantasy on the side. Maybe fantasy's been giving him a bit of skills. But yeah, anyway, I think Baxter's in a very solid position, and Boxer hasn't done the damage he's needed to so far. He's just scouting around with this right now, and I think that's the dropship just coming out right now. That Wraith already has one kill, which is a good thing, but he hasn't done enough damage for the two Wraiths that he's, well, one lost and one been badly injured. He hasn't done enough damage to equalize that out, and he's going for another Wraith here, so maybe I'm a bit mistaken on my call for this build, but in my defense, I don't think this build is a very publicized build, and it's up to really Boxer. I mean, that is one of the trademarks of this play, and already we have the hive going up, so I really don't know where he's going with this build. It looks like he's interested in something from the hive tech, perhaps even Guardians or Devourers, but either way, he's keeping firm control of the map, even with the Wraith out, and I think that's one of the strengths of Zerg, which is you don't need to attack, and I think that's a mistake a lot of Zergs make. If the Terran is on two bases, you're pretty much welcome to take as many bases as you want around the map, and as soon as you have enough gas going, just go Ultra Swarm, and no Terran defense, no Terran offense is going to be able to break that, just because it's too hard. And I like this idea more, and that's to go after the Overlords as opposed to go after the drones, because the Wraiths just do so much damage against air, and it looks like it might be transitioning into a bit of an SK Terran build, which is to go for a lot of bio, a bit of support with tanks where you can build them, but this is such a gas heavy build that the rest goes into science vessels, and he's upgraded stealth actually here for his Wraith, which is actually doing a lot of damage. Baxter doing a very poor job of running out of his base, and he's just lost, I think, his entire main worth of drones. I'm not sure what Baxter's doing here, but he's looking panicked. Boxer obviously very pleased with the damage he's done at this point, and just happy to run those Wraiths out. Probably do a bit more scouting, and he'll probably run into this base. Oh, and it's a Defiler Mound going out here. Boxer's got the scouting. He knows exactly what's coming, so can he prepare for it? He's got the science vessel tech out already, and I expect science vessels to be coming out any second now, as well as a strong bio build. support this, and I like this, bringing in all the Scourge and yeah, obviously building an Overlord just as it pops, and that was really intelligent play, but he's taken so much damage already. I'm wondering if Baxter's going to be able to recoup, or if Boxer's going to be able to take advantage of this, the drones that he's killed already. I think already it would already be upgraded, so what's happening now is the Terran's just moving up those big powerful tanks to push back the Zerg, and Baxter, he's just delaying him by hopping the lurkers back, and this is a really dangerous game for the Zerg, because the second you get it wrong, you lose troops and it hurts. Whereas the Terran, they have very little risk in doing this unless they get their tanks rushed by Zerglings. But even then, tanks have enough armor to generally survive quite a Zergling beatdown until the Marines can just stem up and run in there and finish him off. And we got the Defiler running out there now. He's not taking any special route, and Boxer's done a poor job of scouting where this Defiler is. And I think this is going to cause a problem as soon as Boxer decides to unsiege. What's going to happen is Baxter's going to charge in as soon as the siege mode comes up, and the Defiler Swarm is going to go down right on top of the tanks, which means the tanks need to waste time unsieging, while the Marines can't do anything to support them. And here comes the Defiler now, Swarm going down on top of, very poor Swarm, a second very good Swarm. The Lurkers have separated the force, now you got the Marines out by themselves, Science Vessel in support, Boxer's pushing towards the main, Baxter looks a little confused, he doesn't know where to go, now he thinks he needs to go back to the main, the Lurkers are pouring back, but there's a huge Lurker trap already, and he set hold Lurkers. Oh wow, Boxer just loses his entire defense force. I think Boxer was hoping on a bit of prayer that Baxter had emptied his base, but Baxter was well in control there. Just got his rallying troops and just poured them back. And I think he's going to lose a science vessel on top of that. This is not going well for Boxer. I think Boxer is in a lot of trouble right now. I think he needs to get more science vessels, and he needs to scout the movement of these Defilers and irradiate them early so that they can't push up against his own base. One important thing is he needs to probably take an expansion soon, because the Zerg has gone up to 4, and Boxer doing some great micro, taking the Marines down that survived the Lurker ambush, and he's just killing some more drones, and I think this is perfect. He's already hit the economy hard. To hit it again is it's a crippling blow to the Zerg. The Zerg needs to send off more. His saturation will be very poor in his bases at this point, but his army is, he hasn't wiped out his tanks crucially. Although he just flew up the forces and killed the medic Marines, the tanks are what really cost the minerals, and they're the ones that you really want to kill. But he's massing a huge army in the middle. Those 5 tanks I don't believe have a lot of medic Marine support right now. He's got a ton of Firebats, so he's obviously trying to counter this Defiler Swarm with Firebats, which is a great idea because Lings are what are really powerful in the Swarms, and Burrow Lurkers obviously, but although Firebats don't do great against those, at least they can attack them, unlike